Securing .NET APIs with Amazon Cognito, and this time we are going to implement authorization, role-based authorization. So welcome to everyone. This is Ankush Jain, and this is the sixth video of this series. And if you have not watched the earlier videos of this series, then I would recommend just go and watch. I have provided all the links in the description below. In this particular video, we are going to create an API, deploy it on AWS Lambda function, and create an API gateway route. And we are going to basically secure this API using role-based authorization. So we are using Cognito for that. So all these things you will learn in this video, how to secure your .NET APIs using role-based authorization. So without any further delay, let's get started. So if you have seen my previous video, which is the fifth part of this, where we have implemented the authentication, not the authorization. So this video is going to be very close to the previous video, but yeah, in this we are also implementing authorization along with authentication. So first we are going to review the architecture. I will just click on this link, and this is the architecture. So we have seen anonymous example, authentication example in earlier videos. Now we are going to build this API, which you can see here. So this is the ASP.NET authorization example, and we are going to create this API. And yeah, that's what, I just wanted to highlight that we are on this particular point at the moment. Now understand what we are going to build in this video. So yeah, we are going to build this ASP.NET Core Web API. Sorry, this one we are going to deploy this on Lambda function, and we are going to create a route here that will basically point to this Lambda function. And finally, we will attach the Cognito Authorizer on that route so that our APIs will be secured. So if once we attach Cognito Authorizer on API gateway, the request that will be coming from here should include the Cognito token, and if the token is invalid, then the request will not be forwarded to the application, to the Lambda function. So the request will be directly returned or rejected from this API gateway. Now, again, one thing I would like to highlight, we are also going to implement the security at application layer. However, we are using Cognito Authorizer, and the request will be already will be validated at API gateway level. But there are two reasons that I have already explained, but would again repeat myself. So one is that when a token is coming into our ASP.NET Core application, we need to identify the user and have to set the context. So that's how we can get HTTP context.current.user. So we want to get that user, and for that the user properties should be set, and for that we have to configure the security in the application as well. Second thing is this API gateway Cognito Authorizer doesn't validate the client ID, or we can say audience in the token. So that is something that we are going to validate here in the application as well. So these are the two reasons that we are implementing security at application level. The third reason is that once we implement that security in our API, that makes an API is kind of lambda, mm, what should I yeah, Lambda independent. I mean, we can deploy that API anywhere, on ECS Fargate or containers or a Linux machine or IIS anywhere. So you don't have, I mean, uh, that security will be used everywhere. So that is not Lambda specific code. Okay, so now moving further, refer to this ASP.NET Core. So you just need to click on this link, and I'm closing this link. Okay, let it remain open. So you just need to follow the link and follow the readme file where authentication example. Maybe I have mistakenly added the wrong link, but I will take you to this authorization example. I will update the link there. So yeah, this is the authorization example. If you see here, if you scroll up inside SRC ASP.NET Core APIs, you will see this is the authorization example, and this is the same. So you just need to follow the README file and create a ASP.NET Core API. So what I will do, I will just go here, create a new project. Okay, ASP.NET Core API, select ASP.NET underscore authorization example. example. Okay, all good. Now click next, leave as it is. Click next. It is creating a new project. Okay, the project has been created. Now what is next? Just install this package. The history of this package has already been explained in the previous lecture, so I would not repeat myself again and again, but yeah, it would be very good if you just watch the previous video. And if you have watched, then thank you very much. Okay, so I'm just installing this NuGet package. This NuGet package is installed. Then we need to add this line to configure or make this application Lambda compatible in program.cs here. Yeah, just before builder.build. Okay, now we have to install this NuGet package as well. And just remember that you don't need to install the latest version of this package because we are dealing with .NET 6 and these packages are for .NET 7. So we have to just little bit downgrade ourselves in terms of this NuGet package. Okay, we have installed it. So now I mean, these pretty straightforward README files that you just have to follow. uh, we are just doing copy paste. Okay, now we have installed that NuGet package uh, uh, that will be used later point of time. Okay, in app settings.json, just copy this. As I said, these will be used when you are running this application on your local server, but once you deploy this on Lambda, the configuration .NET Core configuration will be read from environment variable. We will be providing the same value there. Same, we will be using the same keys in environment variable and providing their actual values there, not here. Now add the following, add the below code in your application in your program.cs. So just go here on the top, add this code, and what this code is doing, it's just basically reading the values from the configuration. So the allowed origin, app client ID, user pool ID, AWS region, and creating a valid issuer and valid audience. These two variables that we are going to use in our next step. Now we just need to do this. So first copy this part. This is something where I need to copy builder.services. So definitely here before this build. So this is what, if you are using a mobile application or a JavaScript application such as Angular, Vue, React, so you need to configure course policy, and for that you have to allow the domains which you want to which you want should be able to access these APIs. So here we are configuring that course policy, and domains is a kind of array of a string, and these domains are basically coming from here. So you can configure what domains should be able to make request on your web API. Now moving forward, this is something which is very important and crucial part and kind of heart of security. So here we are adding the add authentication call, and after add authentication we are adding add JWT bearer, because once we add authentication, it will inject add authentication services, but it doesn't know which authentication to use. So that's why we are passing the scheme. And since this is a web API, we are not using cookie based authentication, we are using token based authentication. So we have provided the JWT bearer default authentication scheme. So that's why we added a add JWT bearer method here. And here we provided how the token needs to be validated, incoming token. So here you can see the valid issuer is coming here in the authority, and valid issuer is nothing, just what will happen when this code runs and on the startup or maybe on the first request, this .NET Core application will use this, make use of this valid issuer, which is this. It will construct a URL, it will grab the public key, and it will use that public key to validate the incoming token. So that's why it need the valid issuer. And also once the token is passed and validated, it will also check the values of the valid issuer is same as this, and also the audience, which is a client ID. So client ID, I have explained, we have created an app client in Cognito, so it will also validate that the client ID is same as in the token, it's same as we were expecting here. So this is something valid audience. If I do F12 Cognito app client ID and Cognito app client ID is basically coming here. So we will specify if whether the token belongs to this app client or it doesn't, and that's the reason we are just making that check here. That is not something is validated at API gateway level. So that is not validated. I just I'm not on that diagram, but yeah. Okay, now moving to the next thing where, okay, we have done this. So now I will just add this. We are using this, we are deploying this API in a child route. So we'll just use this and I will authorization example. Now I will course policy and all this. So yeah, I will remove this use authorization and will. So this is something because we have used course services, so we have to use course middleware. So that's why I just use this, and we are using authentication and authorization middleware. So why we are using this? Because although we have configured it, configured the services, but not if we don't configure the middleware, the incoming token will not create authentication ticket. It will not create http context.user. I don't know whether http context is supported in .NET Core, but there is a property which is user, this user. So I think this is something part of base controller. So this user property has everything: user dot name, user dot claims, and I think lot of identity dot name. So all these things are set when we use this use authentication. So it will this middleware will make use of these things, and will construct that user object and set all the claims. So that's all we have done, and now we are just going, since okay, now I forgot to explain you one thing which is very which is different from our previous video is this. So here we are using role claim type, and uh, what does it do? It will basically identify which it will basically check the claim. This is the claim cognito colon groups. So it will check this claim and what is the value inside that claim. So whatever the value will be in this claim will be the role of the incoming user. So that's why we have specified that for the role claim type, it has to look at this particular claim. And now we are creating a controller where we are just basically now we will create an admin controller, and here we have defined like just apart from authentication we have also specified the role. So only admin role should be able to access this admin controller. So we will just go and replace this with admin controller. I just added an extra space. Okay, now we'll copy this, and okay, I will remove this entire thing. So if I just have kept it like this, any valid Cognito user would be able to access this. But I just want that the user who are having admin privileges should be able to access. So that's why this is how we are doing role-based authorization. And I will just do this little change so that my API would be like would I mean so that I can get this option published to AWS Lambda. If I don't do it, I won't get that option. So I think we are good. Now I can just right click on this and deploy it on AWS Lambda. But before that, I will first go in my console and I will create a Lambda function. So we are in North Virginia region, and we let me copy the name of this authorization example project. So I will just click here, name .NET C Sharp 60 not 64. We are using Intel. For the execution role, I have created a role in advance. So let me see. I always forget the name of this. It is .NET, I guess. .NET. Yeah, serverless.NET API. So this is the IAM role, and for the rest of the things, we don't need to touch anything. We just created the function, and after that, mm, we will deploy our application here. But before that, I need to do one more thing. So yeah, if I just click on function, and I will. So this is our previous function, which is authentication example. I will open this, and I will see the configuration and environment variable. I need to just copy these things there. So this is our new authorization example function. In configuration, I will go here in environment variables. I will just click on edit. Although I can do it from Visual Studio as well, but yeah, I mean it is up to you from where you want to do it. So I will just pass it app client ID, add environment variable, and this and their values. Okay, so yeah, we are done. I will save this. Now we are good. Now what I will do, I will right click on this, publish to AWS Lambda. I will just check it is loading the functions. Authorization example. Just don't forget to keep it same as assembly name, which is assembly name. I mean, what the DLL name for this particular API. And now just click on next, and it is taking time. Okay, so after that, we will create a route in API gateway. Okay, so now we got the screen, second screen. So yeah, you can see the environment variables are now appearing here. Okay, so we will just click on upload, and this is going to publish and shipping the artifact, and then we'll upload the artifact to the Lambda function. So let's wait for this to complete. Okay, it is done. I will just move here in functions. You can see it is updated 10 seconds ago, and I think yeah, we are all done with the function related stuff. So now the time to invoke this function, and for that we have to go to the API gateway. This is the API gateway, and in API gateway we will create a new route. So this is my API, and it is I will click on the API, and you can see these are the two API we have already created for uh, to get the name of or get the route. I will go here. I will click API gateway route. Now this is our route authorization example inside ASP.NET, and that's why we have added this thing here as well. Because if you are not deploying your API inside any child route, then you don't need it. So, but since we are doing that, we need it. I will select ASP.NET. I will select this and will create resource. Then I'm here, okay, at the same level. Now what I will do, I will do proxy resource. Then I will click on proxy plus, and sorry, I need to take this proxy resource. Now I have created a proxy resource. I got a method created, and now I need to click on add on this any. So this is a route. This is another child route, and this proxy plus will, basically uh, uh, this is a proxy route, and will it will redirect any request which is coming, like a okay. So if a user sends anything after ASP.NET slash authorization example, anything which is basically controller or action name of the API, so it will redirect all the requests to the backend Lambda function. So that's why it is called a proxy resource. So yeah, this is something here. I will just click on any, and here there is no Lambda function, so we'll just edit the integration. Click on Lambda function. This is Lambda proxy integration, and here authorization example. Now I am not repeating myself like what is Lambda proxy integration and what is proxy resource, that I have covered already, so don't want to repeat myself. Okay, so now we'll click on save. So we have saved our resources. So now, as of now, this method request, there is no authorization. So I have not attached any authorization. So since we have created a Cognito authorizer in previous video, which you can see here, so I will attach the same here as well. I will go in any method request. I will just close this. In method request, inside method request, I will click edit, and here edit authorization. I will select Cognito authorizer that we had created and save. So now we are done. We did all the things that we need to do. We'll deploy this to, so that these changes mm, uh, go on the development stage. I will just click on deploy, and the deployment has been created and all the changes have been deployed on dev stage. So now, in order to test it, we have tested anonymous example, we have tested authentication example. I think this token has been expired, so uh, we have to generate a new token. But anyways, we are here, so we don't care about authentication now. So here I will just send a request. It will fail because we are not providing authentication or access token. So you just need to go here and generate token. But in order to, I have provided entire collection and environment detail here um, in the Thunder client folder. So you can just go here and import these two things, collection and environment, in your Visual Studio by installing a Thunder client extension. And I have also provided how to do that here uh, in the bottom of the page, how to test. So for that you have to install this extension and import these collection and environment variables. So I have done that. Now you just need to click on generate token, and clicking generate token will ask me to open a new page, which is basically a hosted UI of Amazon Cognito that we have opted for when we created user pool. Now I will provide my password, and once I provide password, it will redirect me to the redirect URL, and I will I have been redirected to the uh, callback URL which I had provided this, and this is what Thunder client suggests to provide. Now I have got the access token that has been automatically updated here. Now I will, okay, let's examine this before sending a request. So I will just open the JWT IO, and I will just paste it here. So you can see this is a verified signature, and you can see everything here. Email is verified, and inside Cognito groups you can see admin. So now it this program.cs, you can see role claim type admin. Role claim type is Cognito slash group colon groups. So the role is admin. This is how it will identify, and issuer is something which I was saying, like it will validate, it will get the public key from this issuer, and will also validate that value is same in the token. This value and the value that we specified there, is this value is same or not. Then it will also validate the audience. This is the audience, which is basically a client ID. So this is our client ID, and you can verify that in our Cognito user pool it is the same. So this is the basically JWT token. Now what we need to do, we just need to send a request. So we are sending a request to our admin controller that we created. So we are basically sending request here, admin and the gateway. So it will return all the claims in key value pair form. So just hit it, and let's see what happens. So yeah, request is successful. We are getting all the claims in the key value form, which we were just seeing right now in on the jwt.io page. So that's how you can uh, you can create or secure your APIs using role-based authorization. So if you just want to secure your APIs, you don't want to use authorization, then you can just stick with the video number 5, which we had where we saw how can we secure and implement authentication. If you want to implement authorization, that is also simple. We just need to create a group and just make this little configuration here in program.cs, and we have to add this authorized role admin. And I think these are the major changes that we need to do. Apart from that, everything is same. So it is so easy to implement RBAC authentication using Cognito. So I hope that you have liked this video, and if you really liked it, then please do like and subscribe my channel, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you very much for watching.